Hey guys, Darren's here. Today, unexpected video. I didn't think we were doing this. I thought I was going to be doing a more positive review on this capture card. But we've got to be honest, and being honest, this capture card is not as good as I thought it would. When it's all set up and you've made some manual adjustments, and I do mean manual adjustments, it's it's fine, it's great. It does exactly what it's supposed to do. After you do some manual adjustments, and there were some other issues I ran into that were very baffling, to say the least. So let's just jump straight into it. Let's go over some of the pros, the cons, and then we'll get into how you can fix it so it looks and sounds and acts the way it should do out the box anyway. So let's get straight to it. Okay, so starting with the pros, I will say the design of it, it's a nice design. It's a small design. It's a lot smaller than I expected. A lot smaller than I expected. I was expecting more of a beefy, bulky thing. So I was surprised in that. It's a nice small design. I like the bottom of it. It has these anti-slip like grip things, which is a really nice little feature. So it'll just stay in place on your desk. It's not going to slide around. It's great. The recordings are good. Like I said, after you do some manual adjustments to the recordings, it's great. I've had no real issues with the recordings after I tweaked a few things I had to do. And so overall, it's a solid capture card. It is good for the money as well. It is cheaper. But I would say if you're not so much tech savvy, because there's probably some other issues with this capture card that I have not run into myself, because I've seen other people out there who've, put reviews and stuff out there on this capture card, and they've had issues that I didn't run into. So I would say, if you got the money and you're not so tech savvy, maybe go for the Elgato. With my experience with the Elgato, it was a lot simpler to just install, and it was a lot more plug in and play. Now, the cons. First off, it's not as plug in as play as is led to believe. It's not just plug in off your butt. Not quite so simple. Next up, I had some issues with HDMI. Some of my cables weren't working. I had to try a bunch of different cables. I had a few issues, so I think it is sensitive to... I'm not sure if it's the type of cable, if it's like a HDMI 2.0 or 1.4, etc, etc. I'm not sure if that was the issue, or if it was the bandwidth speed of the HDMI. I'm not sure, but it did seem to be sensitive to the HDMIs you were using. Now next, I had a few issues with resolution. When I plugged in my HDMI that goes into my main monitor, by the way, both my monitors, my first and second one, are 1080p. That's it, just 1080p, 1920 by 1080. When I plugged in that HDMI into the capture card, Razor popped up with a message saying, input detected at 2K, 30 frames, which is weird. And this is where it got weirder. When I tried the HDMI that was plugged into the second monitor, it picked it up as 4K. Why? I don't know. The 2K one, I could have maybe understood, because on my main monitor, I do have virtual super resolution set to 2K. So maybe that was the issue. But when I plugged in the second one and it's picking up as 4K, no idea. Which kind of links into the next con. And that is the software itself is pretty naff. It's pretty darn useless. There's not really many features there, and you don't even need the software open for the capture card to work. It's pretty useless. It's got no real features there that are any benefit. Now, there's one feature I wish was there, and that was the fact that you could change the input resolution it's being detected. Like I said, I plugged in that wire, it detects it as 2K and then 30 frames. Now, if I go in OBS and I try and change it through and set a custom resolution for that input of the capture card, it breaks. Custom resolution, and we could just type in, 1920 by 1080. That'll do it. That'd be fine. There we go. So now, if we could remove the display capture on laptop and enable the Razor one. Ooh, now the Razor one's not picking up. Nothing displays. I can't change it to 1080, 720. I can't change it to no resolution. It just does not work. And I tested this on my laptop too. I got my second laptop, plugged it into this laptop through the capture card, and it'd pick up the resolution that laptop was set up. That worked fine. It wasn't like saying it was 2K, 4K, etc. So that worked. But then when I tried doing a custom resolution as well, still wouldn't work. So what I noticed is and found is that you cannot set a custom resolution other than what Razor detects. So if Razor detects a 1080, then that is your resolution. You cannot change it in OBS. You cannot go into properties on the capture card and do a custom resolution. If it detects 2K, you can't lower it. Same with 4K, you can't lower it. The only way around that would be maybe through downscaling or shrinking the window itself, but you wouldn't want to do that. You want it to be at what you want it to be at, don't you? You don't have to do other things to go. It's just the capture card itself. It seems like it has small problems which could be easily fixed. I don't get it. It's a very baffling card. Some of these other problems we're gonna get to now, which one of them is the capture card is way too quiet. I was surprised how quiet it is. Now there is a fix for this. There is a very simple fix for this. It's just tick one box and it works perfect. But the fact you have to do this to make it sound like a normal capture card, it's baffling. I was doing a test recording of a game called Outward, as my character was walking, because I have got the game set quiet, so when I'm talking to people, you know, I can hear them, and I don't like having it blasting through my headphones, so I've got it set quiet. But when my character was walking, those footprints weren't being picked up in OBS. And bear in mind, my bar is maxed out on the Razor. You know, I haven't even lowered it. When I used to have Elgato, it used to only be like halfway. It was not picking up the footprints whatsoever. So I had to do something outside of OBS and the Razor software to get this to be the way it should. And the last con is the color. The colors were not right on it whatsoever. It was way too dark. Now the actual colors, they were great. They were fine. There was no real issue with the colors, but the darkness, way too dark. Some of these issues are very, like I said, this just easily fixable. I don't understand why it's not straight out of the box, easy peasy. Now, before we get into the fixes on how I fixed the sound and picture, there is one other issue which people may have, and not necessarily just with the Razor, with other capture cards. Okay, so you got your PC here. Alright, I'm not trying to draw anything perfect. So you got your PC, and then you got your monitor. That's a big monitor. No, just for space, we're going to screen. Okay, so you got your PC and you got your monitor. So this is, let's say, 165 hertz. Forgot which way Z goes. Brain fart. We're just gonna leave that anyway. So you got your PC and your monitor. Now, if you get your HDMI would normally go bump and then into there, and then it works fine. Okay. Now over here, you got your capture card. So that HDMI that normally goes straight into the monitor goes boom into the capture card, into the in, and then you have the out, and then you get your HDMI and you put that into there. Issue I was finding is it was only supporting 60 hertz. It would not let me go any higher than 60 hertz, which for me, I wasn't settling for. And it wasn't, you could say, oh, it's only a small issue, blah blah, but I paid money for a higher refresh rate monitor. Why would I want to settle for 60? It makes the entire point of buying this monitor, it just nullifies it. There's no point in having it if I'm only going to be using it at 60. So the way around it is, if we just undo this. So what I did is then I have two HDMIs, okay, and this one goes into the monitor just like normal. Same HDMI goes straight into the monitor, and then I can run it at 165 hertz. Happy days. We get a second HDMI. Now, if you only have, let's say, your graphics card, you only have one HDMI port, well then what you could do is you can maybe try and get a DisplayPort to HDMI or a DisplayPort to DisplayPort, what other ports you've got. Whereas for me, I have one HDMI and the rest are DisplayPorts. So for me, it's actually a DisplayPort to my main monitor, and then I use a HDMI to HDMI here. A bit off topic, but anyway, so you have your HDMI or DVI, whatever, etc. from your PC to your screen, so it works normal, the normal way you normally use to keep your refresh rate. Then you get a second HDMI, display cable, DVI, whatever, and you get it from the PC into the capture card, into the input. And now you don't even use the output whatsoever. That isn't used. What you can do is then, as this is going to input, you'll have a second screen, basically kind of like a second monitor. But what you're going to do with that second screen is you're going to duplicate it, so both screen 1 and screen 2 are a duplicate. So then the capture card is picking up a duplicate screen of your main screen. That will allow you to keep your refresh rate and not have to sacrifice, you know, wasting money on a monitor of good refresh rate and going down to 60. A little something I forgot to mention here was doing this, it actually eliminated my resolution problem where it was detecting as 2K or 4K. So by splitting my HDMI display cables this way and not using an output on the Razor, fixed the problem. As to why, I still can't give you the answer because I don't know it. It still baffles me why. Now, I don't know if other capture cards let you have higher refresh rates. I'm not sure, but I know if the Razor, you can't. So that was a fix number one, and to keep your refresh rate. Okay, so second fix is how to make your sound better and boost it. Now, this will work on consoles too, but you can't do the boost on the console. So let me explain real quick. You got your gaming PC, you got your streaming PC. If you got a 2 PC setup, what you want to do is you want to do the fix on your gaming PC. If you got a console and a streaming PC, you want to do this fix on your streaming PC. Okay, simple enough. So you want to go on Windows and you want to type in sound. You get your sound settings, and then you want to go to sound control panel. Click on this. Okay, then you want to find, where is it? There you go, Razor RipSaw. You want to find that, and you want to go to properties. So once you've gone to properties in this, you want to go to enhancements, and you want to enable loudness equalizer, or equalization. That will work wonders. Your sound will be boosted. What it basically does is it makes low sounds louder, it boosts them, and it makes high sounds a little bit, it levels everything out. So really quiet footsteps are going to be louder, and really like big bangs are going to be a little bit quieter. That, unfortunately, is how you're going to have to boost your sound and get it to work. Now, lastly, the colour. This is going to be more preference. I did find the blacks very dark, and I did have to fix this. And the only way to do that is in OBS itself. What I did was, so say this is our video capture here. Well, we got display capture. Okay. So what you want to do is, you want to right click and go to properties on the capture card. Then you're going to want to add a colour correction. And you're going to want to tweak through them settings. Like I said, it's going to be more preference how you want it to look. I found the darks very dark, so I boosted up some of these settings, the gamma a little bit, the brightness. I think I may have lowered a few other things. That's how I got the colour to work. Once you get your sound right, your video looking right, and you keep your refresh rate, if that's a problem or not, it was fine. It was absolutely perfect. Now the refresh rate, I think that's more a component that you would need in the card itself for you to be able to do that. But the actual sound and the color, I am a little bit disappointed in that. It should be a very easy fix. I mean, this is how easy it is to fix on a computer. You click one button, sounds fine, and you adjust the colors in OBS through filter. Why it doesn't already come like that, I don't know. So now that we went through the pros, the cons, and how to adjust the things, I will show you now a few clips of some gameplay of what the capture card looks like, so you can see for yourself what it looks like.
Eeny, meeny, miny. How about that?
Engineering requires patience and ingenuity.
More time to loot.
Yeah, now we're talking. Let's do this.
Target there. Reloading. Taking fire. Enemy right here. Reloading. I'm down.
Okay, guys, final note. What I'm going to say is, if you're not so tech savvy, you don't want to have to tweak around with it, and you just want it to be more plug and play, get an Elgato. If you are tech savvy and you don't mind tweaking around with it, and you want to save a few bucks, get the Razor. The quality and the sound, there's not really much difference. Not that I can see, there's not a great deal of difference. Alright guys, that's it for this video. Until next time.